Hola guys, it's JW and I'm really excited to talk to you a little bit about hormones and aging. So anti-aging is part of the study and the major applications of my advanced fellowship. My advanced fellowship is in anti-aging, metabolic and functional medicine. And what's really interesting about looking at anti-aging in relation to endocrinology is this: we had initially always kind of said, well, as you age, you lose your hormones, and so you feel awful in all of these random, horrible ways and have chronic disease and all of these responses. But that's what happens because you age. So since you're aging, you lose your hormones. And what we've discovered, and what's very clear scientifically at this point, is that we age, human beings age as we lose our hormones. So if we happen to have interruptions that disrupt our hormonal balance, there's lots of ways that that can happen, lots and lots of ways that that can happen. If we have those things happen, then we see a more rapid aging process. And if we support a hormonal balance, we see a slowed hormonal balance and a slowed aging process from that hormonal balance. And we're able to see more repair when we apply these processes to increase the availability of hormones to receptors and the adaptability of our bodily systems in response to those hormones. So it's super, really my favorite thing in the world uh, to think about the fact that we have some perspective on how we can slow down the aging process, and what it's connected to is an enjoyment, a quality of life. So whereas before we were, remember telling everyone, well, since you're losing your hormones, of course you feel awful, we're now able to say, what are all of the reasons that we might be pursuing a hormonal balance? So there's lots of reasons that we're looking at hormonal balance and different levels of response to give you your optimal lifestyle, what's most important for each individual. Okay, so it is important to understand that anti-aging medicine is applied more in a replacement to achieve optimal levels for what we would consider the most supported in any system. Now, I personally take this very, very seriously and have a ton of education and background study in this area, particularly, and look at the interactions between all of these hormones instead of focusing on one or two, or being really excited on three or four body systems. What is very important when you're looking at hormonal balance is having someone that really understands all of the pathways involved, not only in your current hormonal balance, how that changes with your nutrition, your activity, your relationship with others, your ability to be on the earth in nature. All of those things are your toxicity, your availability to detox and remove negative metabolites from your system in a manner that is supportive of an anti-aging thought process, or basically just not allowing more damage than necessary to occur to your body. So where hormones come into aging is everywhere, because your health is related to what your body is responding to. So 30%, so it's been anywhere between saying 25 to 30% of your genetics are set, and that's what that is. And so you have this certain set point of, you can't age and 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 never go to a point where you die. You're going to have this decline to death. And what's beautiful about that cycle, that decline to death, is that 30%, 25 to 30% that's genetic, is from the epigenetic information of those before you and around them, and all of that input. But the rest of it is completely 100% of that 70% up to you at this point, right? So you have the availability to make a change in the responses that your body is receiving, and that by that response decide, do I want to take an approach where I let myself age very quickly, where I go opposite, where I just let it go and don't just go. Actually, sometimes that works because enjoyment is such a big part of it, right? Enjoying your life and really leaning into that vitality is such a big part of longevity. Do I want to, be cognizant of the way that I move and respond? Do I want to be cognizant of my hormonal levels and balance them optimally? Do I want to utilize natural means to detoxify my body and make sure that I don't have any gunk in the way to process the good stuff so that it gets, kind of backed up, right? There's so many things so many points in which your longevity is affected by your health right now and your responses right now. And your responses right now and your health right now are your hormonal responses to this moment, which then stack on top of each other to give you more adaptability and more ability to respond in the situations that come. The more restore, more stores, more reserves. Okay, so hormones and aging are inextricably linked. I mean, it's forever. I think I should even just. It's really beautiful. I think there's like I think it explains it so beautifully. I'm going through a giant textbook right now of journals and whatnot, but that's what we can expect, right? So as far as hormones are concerned, we're going to be looking primarily at the sex hormones and thyroid hormones. And I love, so this is the Endocrinology Hormone Optimization Evidence-Based for Practical Management. And we age because our hormones decline. Our hormones do not decline because we age. And endocrine hormones are the chemical messengers produced in one area of the body that travel to other areas to regulate cellular function. Autocrine hormones are made by all of our 60 to 90 trillion cells and report information back to the cell by interacting with the receptors on the surface and nucleus. Wow. These hormones are evolutionary preserved from our one-celled ancestors. So beautiful. So we have a beautiful piece of machinery that we are now balancing to optimize our return, our efficiency, our vitality, our longevity, and that is where our hormones come into aging and how we apply them to what we call anti-aging, which is really just slowing down the aging process, our inevitable decline. We can slow it down to where we have up to 20 years of usable and functional life. I think we should definitely do that. And we can do this through what we're doing right now. Lucky us.